Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you a book review for Unmarriageable by Sonia Kamal. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling set in Pakistan. In this book, we follow the story of Alice Bennett, and she is a teacher, and she is just the thinker of her time. She doesn't conform to society's expectations of her, and she doesn't believe that she has to get married to be happy or have kids to be happy, and she just wants to live her life. I absolutely adored this. I had high expectations going into it because Pride and Prejudice is one of my all-time favorite books, and I really wanted this to be a good book because I've read retellings that I loved, and then I've read retellings that I really didn't love, and I feel like this one really stuck the landing because it did such a good job of sticking to the original story or the plot line and certain characteristics that the characters have. I loved that the author put a twist on these to where you could still identify the characters and know which character in Pride and Prejudice she was talking about in this book, but she gave them so much more depth and made them their own, and it fit so seamlessly and flawlessly into the Pakistani culture, and I absolutely adored that. I haven't read that many books set in Pakistan, and I just thought this was such a wonderful glimpse into the culture and the way of thinking. Pride and Prejudice was written and published in the 1800s, so definitely I think a lot of mindsets have changed, but I think the original and then this retelling both have in common the thought that sometimes cultures expect women to be wives and have kids and not really go for higher education, and just to be happy and settled and comfortable, you need to be married to someone who's a good provider. I also really enjoyed the different characteristics that she gave to some of the characters. Like in the original Pride and Prejudice, you had the sister Mary, and she was really pushed to the side and didn't really fit in and just really clung to her music. So in this version, the sister really clings to her religion. She's a Muslim, and I love the way that she incorporated that, where I knew it was Mary, but she gave it her own twist because that's what fits in that culture. It wasn't overbearing, it wasn't preachy at all. It was just, this is the way that Mary's character differs from the rest of her sisters. I loved it. I loved the descriptions, I love the atmosphere, I love the setting, I love the characters. The author is such a nice person, and I love listening to her talk about her inspiration for this book and her love for Jane Austen. And I love that she was able to write this book and be able to share her culture with readers. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Just because here and there were a little bit of pacing issues, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the story at all. So I think if you are interested in the story of Pride and Prejudice, but maybe the thought of reading a classic is a little bit too intimidating right now, This would be a really good introduction. And then when you actually do go read the original Pride and Prejudice, I think it'll be easier to keep the storyline and the characters straight because they mirror each other so well while still being their own story. So please go read this if you have not already. I love it so much, and I definitely plan on rereading it again in the future. But have you read this? If so, what did you think? Let me know down below. As always, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.